Jay, where did you find the life to get this game going in your favor in the second period tonight, and how did it get away from you later?
Well, it was I thought it was a cautious start for us, and then in the second period we talked about, getting on our toes, and there's some weird stuff that happened in that second period, and that led to us shortening the bench, and we got into a little bit of rhythm, and were able to build a lead. I thought that game felt like a boxing match with two good teams throwing punches. And in the end, they found a way to win, and it's a credit to them and their team. They did a good job.
In the middle.
So much offense, Jay. You had a couple of leads, and letting those leads get away, obviously that's tough in a game. What would you say about, obviously the ability to score was there, but in the end, the ability to fend them off in the big moments?
Yeah, you used the word moments there. I thought there were moments in the game that we'd like to do better. In the end, they're a really good team. They pushed hard, and they came back, but so did we. We know there was no give up or, people not fighting till the bitter end. Our group pushed as hard as we could. We emptied the tank with everything that we had, and as I said, it's a credit to Colorado for the game they played tonight, but also the series. They played very well.
Up front, Mark.
There was a time when playoff hockey meant a lot of 2-1 games. You guys didn't play many of those this spring. Can you, going forward, can this be a team that plays the way you're playing and win playing 4-3-5 hockey, or does the destination have to include a much tighter defensive game?
Well, I would say that, from February 11th on, we played a pretty tight game defensively. The way the playoffs worked were the way the playoffs worked. We lost 3 one-goal hockey games in this series. There was a couple empty net goals here or there in games 1 and game 3. That's a function of the way the game was being played. Can we do better defensively? We can. We scored 5 goals tonight. Should be enough to win a game. It didn't work out for us tonight. I think if you look back to that day in February, the team was where it was, and we got to the third round of the playoffs. We learned some hard lessons. We're utterly disappointed with not finding a way to win tonight's game, but in the grand scheme or the big picture of things, I think our team's taken a step this year.
Right side.
Jay, I was going to get to that because you used the word bullish a lot to describe this team.
Yeah.
Getting to the conference final, how would you describe this group now?
Well, I think, as I said, we're utterly disappointed with not being able to move on and not finding a way to close out tonight's game. So that's the first thing. I think that's a credit to our opponent. I think we learned some lessons in our journey here this spring. We're playing hockey, I think today's June 6th. We're playing hockey on June 6th. In order to accomplish that and be one of the Final Four teams, you've done some good things. And I don't think we can lose sight of that. But there's a lot more required in order to find a way to get to the Stanley Cup final, and then there's more required to win the trophy. But I go back to that date on February 11th. We were sitting a healthy margin outside of the playoffs, and we asked that group of players to play hard for each other, to sacrifice, to commit. And we're not here today if that group didn't do that. So I'm proud of our people.
Jay, just about on that, the guy, a lot of guys with injuries. Donard told us about the torn hip flexor. Leon's obviously playing on one foot. Just a word about those guys battling through.
Yeah, and those are the big ones that kind of everybody knew heading in. As the playoffs wore on, warriors. That's what the term I would use. They're people who, you talk about laying it on the line in order to achieve something. our people did that, and there's a lot more that hasn't been made public. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of them for being able to play with those type of limitations.
Second row on the left.
Jay, can you run down the overtime winning goal and
Yeah.
the personnel you had on the ice?
Yeah, so that was the third shift in overtime, and we were on our third line. It was a 3-line game for us tonight, and the group of people that we had went out. It was a 50-50 face-off. We got beat to the net. The puck, got tipped, and they found a way. We're not here without the people that you're referencing.
Stay on the left.
Jay, the last 2 games, you didn't generate as much offense as you wanted, but you did tonight. What did you do differently to get the offensive chances that you wanted?
We adjusted a few things on our forecheck. We talked a lot about being hard and going to hard areas to score. I thought you saw that tonight. I thought some of our investments from earlier in the series started to pay off, and we saw some turnovers. And in the end, I feel we scored enough goals to win the game. We could be a lot tighter defensively.
We'll do one more question. Back to Ryan in the middle.
Yeah.
Darnell talked about playing through a torn hip flexor, and I imagine that's got to be difficult. Did it make it tough in that matchup against those real high-end guys that he was playing a lot against? And how do you think he managed in that matchup? And did you think about backing him off in some of those matchups, just considering what he was dealing with?
Yeah, I think if you watched, we dressed 7 in the last 2 games, right? And different people were on the ice in the matchup that you're referencing. Those are some good hockey players on the other side. They had the ability to find a way to affect the game. That's not on one player, one injury, or anything like that. We're a team, and in the end, we didn't do a good enough job with the amount that we were giving up. And the most important thing I'm going to take out of this is that to get to this spot, we're proud, but we also realize to move on, there's more. And we're going to find it as we move forward.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.